Hello, and welcome to Mindfulness for accepting things that we cannot control. It's often hard not to care about things you can't control, whether it's the traffic, weather, passing of time, cats, and so on. The problem is that caring about things you can't control takes your time, it zaps your energy, and keeps you from working on the things that you can control. To reduce your stress and to start leading a happier life, you need to let go and stop caring about the things that you can't control. Now, it might be easier said than done, but all you need are the right tools. So, where to start? First of all, recognize what it is you can and can't control. There are certain situations that you simply cannot change. And this doesn't mean that you should give up on everything and just drift along, allowing anything to happen to you and your life. Believing you control nothing is just as unhelpful as believing you control everything. It takes an understanding of the balance to find a place of happiness in your life. Now, here are the top 3 things that we can't control. So, first of all, what other people think. The only thoughts you can ever really know are your own. And as for other people, you can only know what they communicate to you. And if they are communicating thoughts you don't care for, guess what? There's absolutely nothing you can do about that. You could try to convince them of your points, but you cannot simply change their minds because you want to. The past. You have some measure of control over the future, even though you don't control everything. But the past, that is something you have no control over. It's done. If you've made mistakes or have regrets, as is the case for all of us, the only thing you can do is make decisions about how they affect your present and your future. In the what if scenarios, your future is in part determined by your actions, but it is also determined by the actions of others, which you can't know ahead of time, let alone control. So instead of focusing on what everyone else will think or do, focus on what you think and on what you're going to do. Taking the focus off the uncontrollable variables, so other people, and putting the focus on more controllable variables, yourself and your decisions. Doing this will greatly reduce anxiety. So now what? So for this session, I'll be drawing a lot on acceptance and commitment therapy, which was originally developed by Russ Harris. And he developed an acronym, which is really useful in helping us to think about how to approach the uncontrollable. So first of all, Russ Harris says that you need to focus on what is in your control. When we are facing a crisis of any sort, fear and anxiety will be inevitable. And they are normal, natural responses to challenging situations infused with uncertainty. It's all too easy to get lost in worrying and ruminating about all sorts of things that are out of your control. And while it's completely natural for us to get lost in such worries, it's not useful or helpful. Indeed, the more we focus on what's not in our control, the more hopeless or anxious we're likely to feel. So the single most useful thing anyone can do in any scenario is to focus on what is in your control. Up next, acknowledging your thoughts and feelings. Silently or out loud, kindly acknowledge whatever's showing up inside of you. Any thoughts, feelings, emotions, memories, sensations, or urges. Try to take the stance of a curious scientist, observing what's going on in your inner world. And as you do this, often it's helpful to put this into words and to silently say to yourself something like, "Oh, I'm noticing anxiety," or "Here's grief," or "There's worry on my mind." And whilst continuing to acknowledge your thoughts and feelings, you can also come back to your body. Come back to and connect with your physical body. It's important to note that you're not trying to turn away from or escape, avoid, or distract yourself from what's happening in your inner world. The aim is to remain aware of your thoughts and feelings, continuing to acknowledge their presence, and at the same time, connect with your body and actively move it. Now, you may be asking why. This is so you can gain as much control as possible over your physical actions, even though you can't control your feelings. Remember, F is focus on what's in your control. Lastly, engage. Engage in what you're doing. Get a sense of where you are and refocus your attention on the activity that you're doing. So, this is the acronym FACE. Focus on what is in your control. Acknowledge your thoughts and feelings. Come back to your body and engage in what you're doing. And luckily, mindfulness is a great way to do all of the above. By taking a break to focus and on controlling your breathing, this can help you to relax and instill a sense of peace. It can also help you to remember that there are things you can control and minimize your focus on the things that you can't. Practicing meditative mindfulness is a good way to let go of any self-defeating thoughts or circumstances you can't control and instead be present in the here and now. So for this mindfulness session, we are going to run through 3 longer meditations, followed by 2 quick and easy exercises that you can do when you find yourself becoming overwhelmed with thoughts and worries and anxieties about what it is we can and can't control. Session 1. So this is going to be the mindfulness of the breath. What I'd like you to do is to bring your attention to your breathing and follow the air as it comes in through your nostrils and goes down to the bottom of your lungs, and then follow it back again. You'll be going on a journey with your breathing today. Follow the air as if you're riding waves of your breathing. Notice the air moving in and out of your nostrils, how it's slightly warmer as it comes in and slightly cooler as it goes out. And now notice the gentle rise and fall of your rib cage. And now notice the gentle rise and fall of your belly. I'd like you to fix your attention on one of these areas, whichever you prefer. On the breath moving in and out of the nostrils, on the rising and falling of the rib cage, or the rising and falling of the belly. I want you to keep your attention on this spot, noticing the movement in and out of the breath. Whatever feelings, urges, or sensations arise, whether they're pleasant or unpleasant, try to gently acknowledge them, almost as if you're nodding your head at people passing by you on the street. Gently acknowledge their presence and let them be, allowing them to slide past you as they please, and to just keep your attention on your breath. And whatever thoughts, images, or memories arise, simply acknowledge them and allow them to be, whether they're comfortable or uncomfortable. Again, much like your thoughts and feelings, allow these memories to come and go as they please, maintaining your attention on the breath. From time to time, attention will become distracted. And each time this happens, try to notice what it is that distracted you. And then bring your attention back to the breath. No matter how often your attention wanders off, whether it's 100 times or 1,000, your only aim in this moment is to simply note what distracted you and return back to the breathing. There's going to be no need to become frustrated or impatient, or to be disappointed if you find yourself being carried off by your thoughts. This happens to everyone. Our minds naturally distract us from what we're doing. So every time you realize your attention has wandered, gently acknowledge it. Note what distracted you and return to your breath. And should feelings such as frustration, boredom, impatience arise, acknowledge them too and maintain the focus on your breath. We'll try this for the next few minutes of anchoring ourselves to our breathing and allowing thoughts, feelings, memories, and sensations to slide past us. Noting each time our mind wanders, forgiving ourselves, and returning to the breath. We'll now bring this practice to a close. And I'd like you to give yourself credit for coming here today and for, no matter how often your attention wandered, gently acknowledging it and bringing yourself back to your breath. Now, when you're ready, bring yourself back to the room and open your eyes. Perfect. We'll now move on to our second meditation. And this is called the Mindfulness of Emotions. So to begin, position yourself comfortably in your chair. Feet flat on the floor, with your arms placed comfortably in the chair. It can be on the armrests or in your lap. Ensure that you're feeling your whole body fully supported, and allow your eyes to close. We'll begin by paying attention to the breath. Take 3 long breaths just to settle yourself. Now, gently guide your attention to how you are feeling emotionally within yourself at this moment. Note whatever feelings arise within you, whether they be positive, neutral, or negative, whether they're strong or weak in intensity. They're all just emotions, all just feelings to be felt. And whenever feelings do arise in you throughout this meditation, remind yourself that it's okay to allow yourself to feel these. Remember that you are not your emotions. You are the watcher of them. Take some time to just observe your emotional experience right here, making no attempt to change how you're feeling. You might want to label the emotions to yourself. There's calmness, happiness, indifference, boredom, frustration, whatever it is you might describe. And now, see if you can describe where and how you feel these emotions in your body. Taking some time to notice the physical signs that you're feeling the way you feel. Watch as the emotion changes in intensity and nature. Bring to mind whatever image helps you to be the watcher of your emotions. So you could try seeing your emotions like an ocean wave, a cloud floating by in the sky, perhaps a train or bus going by you. You don't have to buy into your emotions and get swept up into them. You don't need to change them, fight them, or get rid of them. You're here to watch, observe, and experience what's going on right now, and to see if you can make space for these emotions, seeing them as part of a broader landscape within you that contains lots of things like thoughts, memories, and body sensations. Your emotions, they're just emotions, and you're feeling just feelings, nothing more and nothing less. When you've experienced whatever emotion is there, and the experience has run its natural course, redirect your attention backwards towards your breath, noting each inhalation and each exhalation. Bind your attention to the back and forth movement of the belly as you breathe in and out, noting sensations in your body as you draw breath in and expel it out. Take some time to allow your breath to anchor you in the present moment. And if your mind wanders away from the breath to an emotion or thought or sensation, that's okay. That's exactly what minds do. Congratulate yourself for noticing that, and give your mind the time to again observe and watch what it is you're experiencing. And once that observation has run its natural course, again, gently bring your attention back to your breath as your anchor point to the present. We're going to try to continue this mindful practice of emotions for the next 5 minutes or so, where you will practice observing your emotions, where they occur in the body, and just letting them be. We'll now bring this practice to a close. And when you feel that you are ready to stop this process of observing your emotions, gradually, slowly open your eyes, bringing this exercise to a close. Great. I hope that you found that to be a really interesting experience. And I think that that particular meditation is really useful because we often find ourselves at the mercy of our emotions, forgetting that we're the ones who control them. They do not control us. Okay, so we'll move swiftly on to our final long meditation. And this one is focused on letting go of stress and over control. So to begin, settle into a comfortable seat. You could be laying down on your bed or floor should you feel the need. And we'll start by taking just a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Take one more deep breath in through the nose and out through your mouth. And just let your breath relax you into this space. I want you to be gentle with your thoughts and feelings within this practice. Thoughts and feelings, as we know, come up all the time. It's just naturally what happens. And it's how our brains are supposed to work. But it's also okay to let these thoughts and feelings take a pause. So anytime that a thought comes up for you in this practice, I'd like you to look at that thought, explore it, and tell that thought, it's okay. It is what it is. You are what you are. And then let that thought gently float away like a feather in a breeze. You might notice thoughts about things on your to-do list or things that are coming for you in the future. Anytime a thought comes up for you, look at that thought, explore that thought, and let it gently float away. You may have feelings also come up. Feelings such as stress or worry, anxiety and frustration. Throughout this practice, anytime a feeling comes up for you, I want you to look at that feeling, explore it, and tell that feeling, it's okay. It is what it is. You are what you are. And then let that feeling float away. You might notice thoughts about wanting to change or be in charge of what's going to happen to you. And it's okay, even perfectly natural to want this. And should a thought like this come up for you, again, explore it. Why is it there? What purpose does it serve? And when ready, tell that thought, it's okay. It is what it is. And you are what you are. And then let that too gently float away. As we continue through this meditation, more thoughts, more feelings, they might drift up for you. They may come fast and they may come slow. We'll practice this for the next 4 minutes. And I want you to, anytime a thought or feeling comes up for you, look at that thought or that feeling, explore it, and tell it that it's okay. It is what it is. You are what you are. And then to let that feeling, that thought, gently float away. We'll now bring this practice to a close. This practice of letting go and the need to over-control thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Again, give yourself credit for coming to this practice and for engaging to the best of your ability. It's not easy. It's not easy to let go. Great. So we'll now move on to our 2 short exercises. Now these are both from acceptance and commitment therapy. So going back again to Russ Harris. And these are really simple, quick exercises that you can do when you find yourself beginning to lose control within the storm of emotions that you might experience on a day-to-day basis. So this first exercise, dropping the anchor. Now, we all know that there are times we can get overwhelmed with emotions or when anxiety can take us over. So we often get caught up in our thoughts. And when this happens, it's almost impossible to do the things we want to do or have to do. And often we find ourselves losing touch with what's important. And at times like these, this is a really great exercise to do. You can do it anywhere, anytime, no matter how you're feeling. So you want to drop your anchor whenever you find yourself feeling anxious and an emotional storm is turning up with all those difficult thoughts, memories, feelings, emotions, urges, and sensations that go with it. Now, an anchor can be anything in the present moment that's not part of this storm. So your senses, the movement of your body, your breathing, as well as anything in your surroundings. So with this exercise, what you do is first, if you can, sit in a chair with your back straight, your shoulders back and down, and put your feet flat on the floor, pushing them downwards. If you're standing up, adopt a posture with your legs about shoulder width apart, again ensuring you have a straight back with your shoulders down. And focus on pushing your feet down into the floor beneath you. Take your time then, just to reflect on your 5 senses. So feeling your feet on the floor, perhaps inside your shoes or socks. Feeling the weight of your body on the chair. Your hands as they rest in your lap or down by your sides. Just thinking, what else is there that you can feel? Then, press your fingertips together and gently move your elbows and shoulders. Just taking note of the movement within the body. Up next, this is the hard part. Take a moment to notice and acknowledge that there are things that you're struggling with and that there's pain with this struggle. You can acknowledge the type of pain if you know what it is. So saying to yourself, here's anger, here's anxiety, here's sadness, here's emptiness. Once you've acknowledged what's going on for you, shift your attention to what it is that you can see. Or if you choose to have your eyes closed, noting the different colors you can see depending on the light. If your eyes are open, what objects can you see around you? Note 5 things. Colors, textures, objects. Next, listen to the sounds around you, noticing 3 or 4 that you can hear. Perhaps cars outside, people talking, my voice, whatever it is. Simply notice. And next, can you smell anything? Seeing if you can notice 1 or 2 things you can smell within your immediate environment. Perhaps you smell something pleasant that brings you to an almost instant sense of calm. As we know, our olfactory system is strongly linked to memory. Perhaps smells bring to mind fond memories. And lastly, notice what it is you can taste. What you've eaten not long ago, perhaps your toothpaste. You can also try to gently part your lips and stick your tongue out ever so slightly to see if there are any tastes left in the air. Now we move backwards again, acknowledging that there's something painful that you're struggling with. And at the same time as acknowledging this, take note of your body, your feet pressing down into the ground, your fingertips pressing together. And take a look around you again, noting those 5 objects. And when you feel ready, and you feel your anchor has dropped and you are grounded, you can end this exercise, taking a moment just to stretch and move your body. Okay, so our second short exercise is called Leaves on a Stream. So as humans, we often find ourselves getting caught up in our thinking and allowing our thoughts to dominate our behaviors. So this next exercise aims to help facilitate diffusion, which is essentially letting go of that internal struggle or resistance. And this is acceptance in a positive sense, not resignation. So if you can, sit in a comfortable position and either close your eyes or rest them gently on a fixed spot in the room. And I want you to visualize yourself sitting beside a gently flowing stream with leaves floating along the surface of the water. For the next few minutes, each time a thought enters your mind, I want you to place it on a leaf and let it float by. Do this with each thought, whether they're pleasurable or painful or even neutral. Even if you have a joyous thought, place it on a leaf and let it float by. If your thoughts momentarily stop, just continue to watch the stream. Sooner or later, your thoughts will start up again. Now, it's important to allow the stream to flow at its own pace. So don't try to speed it up and rush your thoughts along. You're not trying to rush the leaves along or to get rid of your thoughts. You're allowing them to come and go at their own pace. And if your mind says, ugh, this is dumb, or I'm bored, or am I doing this right? Place those thoughts on leaves too, and let them pass. If you've noticed a leaf getting stuck, allow it to hang around until it's ready to float by. And if the thought comes up again, place it back on the leaf and watch it float by another time. If difficult or painful feelings arise, simply acknowledge them. Say to yourself, I notice I'm having a feeling of boredom, impatience, frustration, whatever it is. And place those thoughts on leaves and allow them to float along. We'll continue this process of putting our thoughts and feelings on leaves and watching them float away just for the next minute or so. Now, from time to time, your thoughts may hook you and distract you from being fully present in the exercise. And this is normal. As soon as you realize that you become sidetracked, gently bring your attention back to the visualization exercise as many times as you need. So that's that. I'd like to thank you for coming today, and I hope that you've learned some useful techniques for helping you during periods of time when you find yourself getting swept up in that storm of needing control. As always, Keep an eye on the City and Hackney Care Center YouTube channel for more mindfulness content coming to you weekly.